Welcome back. This is Pittsburgh Now. I'm Chris Moore. Our number is 412-333-PCNC as we continue our conversation on the economy with Rob Wilson, who's Vice President at Blazer Capital Management. Rob, what about the TARP funds and what about the stimulus altogether? Did that help? They say, I read a lot of columns that say that the stimulus didn't help anything, and then I see the stimulus did help because it kept public sector jobs up, and without it, maybe 1,000,007 jobs would have been lost. What's your opinion?
The difficult thing about this is that it's hard to prove a negative, right? So if we had done nothing and the unemployment rate went up to 15%, then people would say, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you put a stimulus plan in place? So it's hard to prove the negative in that they did do something. How bad would it have been if they didn't? But having said that, government spending is something that helps in a time of economic crisis. And this one, which was of unprecedented proportions. I mean, the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. And when a lot of people say, well, the president has promised this and promised that and it hasn't recovered, you've got to ask somebody, how long do you think that it should take to recover from the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression? I would imagine that reasonable individuals would surmise that it would take a little bit of time to recover from that. I always say that you can't take a train going 100 miles an hour in one direction, slow it down, stop it, and send it back in the other direction on a dime. It takes some time to do that. So it's unfortunate again that we're in this situation, but these are the chips that this administration was handed.
Is that argument going to hold water much longer with the voting public, though? Everybody on Mr. Obama's side says, we inherited all of these problems. It's going to take more. In fact, we saw it in that piece that we just ran. It's going to take some time. Be patient. How long is that going to hold up?
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm definitely not an Obama apologist, and I understand and feel the same pain as a lot of other individuals do. But when you talk about what actual platforms are on the table, so you mentioned TARP as a part of the whole things that came out of the crisis, a lot of which was started under President Bush, but something that was necessary, even though you've got this moral hazard with the big banks who were allowed to lend and then have the taxpayer foot the bill when the loans went belly up. When you talk about the platforms that are actually on the table, if folks go and download the Republican platform, one key part of their issues is that they say that student loans have gone way out of control and we need to privatize those, and that the government needs to get out of the business of providing student loans. So they want to privatize that industry, but they also say that they want the government to back and insure those loans. Now,
that's not complete privatization, is it?
It's not privatization at all. And as a matter of fact, it's the exact same blueprint as what got us in this trouble in the first place.
But do the voters see that?
No, they don't. And that's what really frustrates me about this whole political process, is that people don't necessarily spend the time to go on the website and download and actually read the platform. And so the race becomes an American Idol style competition where it's all about the 30-second commercials that are on. If that's what it's going to be, we should just take out our phones and text message vote right now and we can get on with it. But if people are really concerned with what the direction is, you've got to take note of the real issues. I think that there should be some sort of commission that doesn't allow these commercials to go on unless they're fact checked, because it's irresponsible on both sides to put ads out there that are influencing voters in one way or the other with facts that are distorted or just outright wrong.
Well, let me ask you about the Bain Capital ads then. Are they unfair against Mr. Romney? And you did say both sides, but we only have a minute left. Are they unfair to say that he shipped jobs overseas or put little old ladies off health care because their husbands died and their pensions went away?
They're fair and they're unfair. They're fair in the fact that Mr. Romney wants to say that he's a job creator, when that is not necessarily what private equity is about. But private equity is a good business, and there's nothing wrong with being in that business. It's very good business for folks who are involved in it. But if you're going to say that your role in that was to create jobs, it's just not a fact.
So what do you think is going to have to happen with jobs? Will they have to fall below unemployment, below 8% for Mr. Obama to get reelected?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think if the Republicans do not clearly set out a plan for what they're going to do, I don't think it's going to compel enough people to actually pull that lever.
Okay, so when you leave here, you're going to get a new iPhone and help drive the economy?
I am going to get a new iPhone when my contract is up, but I need it though. I actually need it.
You're still working on the 3, huh?
I am. I'm actually on the BlackBerry, so I've got to get rid of that thing.
Okay, Rob, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it, okay?